Hey everybody, I'm Emily D. Simone with the Garden State Film Festival, and here with me is Tim Disbrow, the director, writer, and producer of April at the End of the Month. Tim, how are you doing?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. Congratulations on the film being accepted into the festival, and thank you so much for taking this time to speak with us. I did watch the film. I loved it. I'm really excited to ask you about everything that went on behind the scenes, but before I do you have anything you'd like to tell the live viewers about?
I'm really happy to be a part of the Garden State Film Festival. This is actually the second film that I've been lucky enough to have part of the festival. I made a film a few years ago that actually was part of the 2020 festival. So happy to be back this time in person, and really excited, like I said, to have the film selected. It's an honor.
Tim, what was your inspiration for writing this?
So going into this project, I had done a narrative short a few years ago, like I said, the one that had screened at Garden State previously, and I wanted to go in with something completely different than anything I'd ever done. So I sort of went in really with a tone in mind, or I wanted to shoot in black and white. I knew that. So that was kind of exciting. I had just been sort of binging a lot of black and white movies during the pandemic, really, and was sort of really excited to shoot, in light for black and white. So then just with that as sort of a jumping off point, wanted to explore a sort of a different tone. It's a little slower than some of the other things I've made in the past, and sort of really wanted to hone in on a feel this time.
Okay, so what was this filming process like for you?
It was quick. It was fast. It was very sort of loose. There was actually no script, to be totally honest. It was sort of a couple bullet points written in a email, and then myself and the actress, Kristen, we just sort of riffed and came up with it, a sort of an outline as we went. It was a very loose process. I was a one-man band shooting the whole thing myself, and yeah, it just came together very organically. It just over 2 days.
So you'd say that this script was improvised?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot of dialogue, but what dialogue there is improvised, and the story points we were sort of we had a general idea, and then, oh, what if she does this, and
Yeah.
sort of did it on the fly. It was a way I've never worked before, and it was exciting. It was actually really fun. I plan on working this way more, actually.
I'm gonna rewatch it and think to myself about the fact that it's basically improv. I mean, improv doesn't have to just be speaking, so that's
Yeah, yeah.
that's really cool that that was the approach that you took to it. Um, so how did you find your actress?
She's a friend. I've known her for a lot of years. She's friends with my wife, actually, and we're all a tight little friend group. And she's a stage actress. By sort of is by day is not the right way to say it, but she's mainly a stage actress. And I've seen her in some really great local productions, and always was looking for a way to work together. And after the pandemic loosened up, and it was time to get back out there and start creating again, we found some open days on the calendar and just said, well, what the heck, let's try and make something.
So when did you film this?
This, I guess was it last summer? I guess last summer
Of 2021?
of 2021. Yep, summer of 2021.
Okay. I figure because it was a close friend of yours, there probably weren't really any restrictions with COVID and whatnot. So that's
Yeah,
good.
we were
So
tested and safe and all that. So
uh, why did you submit to Garden State? Like what inspired you with the Garden State Film Festival?
I'm a Jersey boy first and foremost, a proud New Jersey boy, and it the Garden State Film Festival, like I said, I have had a project here previously, and I love that there's a homegrown category, and that feels like exactly what this project is. So even my production company is called Third State Media, which New Jersey was the third state. So it just seems like a no-brainer. Garden State, seems like the way to go, and I had a great, experience with the last time. So I was really looking forward to hopefully getting accepted, and really thankful to be a part of it again.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back. So, what is it you're hoping that your audience will get out of watching your film?
I think what sort of the general theme of the project, or sort of where we were, our headspace was sort of transitional periods in life. And I think that's a topic or an area that I'm always interested in. I think people's stories during these sort of unsettled times in life can be really interesting. And I think I think there's a clear narrative in the film, but I also think that there's room for people to sort of put on it what they see in it. And and already a few people have seen it at other festivals, actually overseas, and it's interesting to see what other people see in it or how they feel about it. And that's really been the most fun part is sort of hearing people's reactions to it and how they're connecting with it. And I think we've all been in those phases of life where it's sort of up in the air. You're in between, sort of feeling settled, and I think everyone can sort of relate to that. So that's sort of what I was going for.
Do you have any advice for other filmmakers?
I don't know if I'm one to be doling out advice, but the something that changed in me lately in the last couple of years, that really changed my creative way of thinking. And I work in television, is my full-time job. So this sort of stuff is what I do 24/7. But someone, a great filmmaker said, don't be precious with your work, and that stuck with me so much. And if I hadn't heard that, I wouldn't have made this project probably because it was done so fast and loose. It's unlike anything I've ever done because it was so unprepared. Sounds amateurish, but it was,
Oh,
it was just flying by the seat of our
spontaneous,
pants.
sporadic.
Yeah, it was just loose and it was natural, and I say it was the most organic film I've ever made. It just sort of came out, and it was just like, oh, and then this happens, and then that happens, and we just had the narrative just came flowing out. So I say just get out there and make stuff and let it come to you, and use the creative energy,
That's
harness it.
fantastic advice. Well, you guys can check out April at the end of the month on Saturday, March 25th at the Berkeley Continental at 8:45 p.m. to the 11 p.m. block. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.